There is no escaping that we live in a highly globalized world. Some people talk about the world which is highly compressed. Others talk about the world in which geography is dead.
For today's generation, their world is devoid of postcodes. They no longer connect or necessarily identify just with their local community. They are global citizens for whom political, economic and social borders are no longer barriers.
Global engagement is clearly not a choice anymore, it's a need, it's a requirement, and young people are very differently able to orient themselves towards the global depending on their resources.
The reason for having the event, I think, really is to put under the blowtorch some of the rhetoric and look at some of the practices around these issues.
Educating professionally skilled, ethically thinking and culturally competent graduates is a shared goal of government, universities and employer groups. However, what is not so clear is how we actually achieve this.
And clearly it's been very difficult to translate some of these rather abstract notions around global citizenship, cosmopolitanism and so on into effective, deliverable curricula.
Global citizenship is a term just like student experience. It's a term that is always defined by government agencies, defined by universities, but never by the student. And you find that the main issue about that is that students don't actually take ownership of what they are being exposed to.
It actually starts at home. How do we behave every day? Are we good citizens before we try to be good global citizens?
To date, I don't think students are necessarily challenged or taken out of their comfort zone in learning routinely. Global citizenship is often seen as an extracurricular activity and is not engaged or it's not integrated into learning.
One of the points in the papers is really about how do we embed some of this stuff in our curriculum, in our universities, in our culture. And I'm really wondering, do we need to really kick this along? One of the interesting things, I'm not just saying this from a social experiment point of view, is to not embed it, but to make it available and then see what sort of demand we can really drive.
My question is about the shift that we're seeing towards online learning now. How do we get this global citizenship and global competencies embedded when the students do not necessarily ever have to come onto campus?
If global citizenship is an elite preoccupation without deep grounding in popular society, we can expect to see a recurrence of resistance to it.
As global competition becomes more intense, global citizenship takes on a more prominent role in differentiating the very good from the very best.
Clearly young people are deeply aware of big global issues like environmental degradation. They're very concerned about war, about poverty, and they feel the responsibility on them to be world savers or world changers. And this has sometimes been described as selfie humanitarianism. So what we get is not a kind of joining up with political collectivist activities or efforts to create some kind of global civil society, but trying to really create change in ways that also perhaps build your CV.
We need to understand soft skills and hard skills and how we bring them together in that global citizen to ensure that we can drive the change that we are looking for.
With a worldwide surplus of graduates competing for employment, academics results alone will not suffice. Employers are no longer restricting their focus to local, but to global. So employers will not only expect, they will demand something extra. That's something which makes students stand alone as globally networked, global ambassadors are also global citizens.